Hey, have you ever grabbed a wrench, a long wrench, and tried to turn a bolt? Well, I'm going to show you how a wrench has a lot to do with spinning a golf ball on a golf course. I am fortunate enough to work with Callaway Golf, and I spend time with some of the smartest guys in the business when it comes to designing equipment, whether it's clubs or golf balls, drivers, all that stuff. And I had a very interesting experience a few years ago, and I'll tell you what I'd like to do is just show you the clip in the video I took of an explanation of the moment arm of a golf ball, and we'll come back and talk about it.
When you look at a tour ball, the way it's set up with the higher compression balls, because they don't compress or deform as much, the distance from the center of the ball to the outside of the cover stays longer. So that's a moment arm that the loft is using to rev the spin up. So the oblique impact of the loft has that longer moment arm to generate the spin. Now, technically, the difference between the blooper, which is the one that kind of hit it and it bloops straight up in the air and it comes down and rolls forward, which is kind of the high launch knuckleball, versus the flat tour pitch, what's happening at impact is that as the club comes into impact, in a very small distance, what's happening is the ball hits the face, the ball is going to slip up the face some amount, and then the friction is going to get the ball to start rolling up the face. So there's a slip phase and there's a roll phase. All that's taking place in a very short distance. But if you have debris on the face, or you have anything that reduces the friction, bad grooves, any kind of debris, water, mud, moisture, whatever it is, or a firm cover, right, a firm slippery cover on the ball, then what happens is the slip phase is very long, so it's slipping up the face for a long period of time, and it finally starts to roll a little bit before it leaves, and that raises the launch angle. So a long slip distance raises the launch angle, could raise it 10 degrees, drops the spin anywhere 4,000 or 5,000 easily. If you get the ball and you have enough friction on the ball because of cover, because of technique, because of a dry face, because of aggressive grooves, because of a good lie, you then have a short slip phase and a long roll phase. So percentage speaking, now the roll phase is much longer. As it hits, slips only a little bit up the face, then starts to roll a lot. That's going to drag the launch angle down quite a bit, and it's going to rev the spin up easily 4,000 or 5,000 RPMs. It's not uncommon to see lob wedges, even at low speeds, take off sometimes at 11,000 RPMs of backspin at 28-degree launch angle.
So one of the things that's so important about spinning a golf ball is what he called the moment arm of the ball. He explained it really well. I love his explanation of how the ball works on the face. So how do you hit that really nice, crisp wedge shot with your wedge and spin the golf ball correctly? Well, there's a lot of factors that go into spinning the ball. I know some of you see it happen on tour. These guys hit these nice spinny wedge shots that stop. The very first thing, obviously, a clean club face. Having a nice, clean, grooves open, nothing on the face. Right now, this grass is really wet. I mean, it's really wet. So what happens, that ball comes up here, let's say it stops next to the green, it's wet. So you already have a little bit of a problem with water between the ball and the face. Well, what you want that ball to do, and this is the explanation, is the ball hits the face. If it slides, it doesn't spin, it doesn't roll. If it's wet, the ball slides. If there's grass, the ball slides. If the grooves are filled up, the ball slides. What you want is to hit the face and the ball to roll up the face, and that gives it the spin. So we have to increase our ability to roll the ball up the face. So the first thing is a very clean club face. The second thing that I want you to understand is that you need to have the proper, when you strike the golf ball, we want the ball to roll up the face, you need to use the proper ball, which was the explanation he gave about why a golf ball is so important with that moment arm. If you guys are out chipping range balls, that ball is not designed to have a long moment arm. Matter of fact, it might be too long of an arm. It's not soft enough, so it comes off the face too fast. Have you ever chipped one of those range balls where it kind of just takes off? That's because the ball's so hard, it doesn't have time to roll. It slides and takes off. You want like he said, you want enough softness in the ball, but enough firmness in the inside to give the moment arm to turn. So, for example, the shot. Now let's talk about technique. Come over here for a second. I want to kind of demonstrate for you the technique of this, because I'm going to show you the technique that keeps the ball on the face and keeps it, has a chance to spin. This is the problem that most golfers face, is they set up here and they release the face too early. Now everybody's like, oh, you flip the hands or whatever. But the problem with flipping the hands is that the ball does this. It doesn't roll up the face. It slides up the face like that, and the ball kind of pops up, and you don't have a lot of control. When I look at this shot where I see a little bit of a green where I got to kind of hit it in there and maybe check the golf ball, a couple things that are very important. You've got to have the hands leading. because this is gonna keep a consistent club face angle. I want this club face angle to stay consistent, which keeps the ball on the face longer. See, that makes sense, right? If I do this, it flips up the face. So I'm gonna basically have the ball back in my stance, the hands forward. When I make the contact with the ball, notice my hands are leading and that ball can stay on the face. Here we go. And that ball will stay on the face and it has a chance to kind of spin. The problem that you might have, and notice I took a little bit of a divot, which is what I like to do. You don't want to do this. You don't want to do this and flip, because it doesn't roll up the face. It just kind of pops up the face and it pops up and doesn't go anywhere. So the other thing that you see is ball position. A lot of guys, well, what I'll do is I'll put the ball back and I'll try to hit down on it. That's also a mistake, because when you have the ball back in your stance, now you've created too much angle down and a ball won't stay on the face very long, and you get this kind of thing where it chunks like that and it takes off. So it's not about hitting further down. Here's what it's really about. Here's the perfect wedge, the way to hit a perfect little spinny wedge shot that has nice control. Place the ball a little bit back in your stance, get the hands leading, take it back nicely, don't hinge the hands too much, and then just lead with the hands and let the ball stay on the face. And that ball will come off and it'll have a nice way of stopping. Also pay attention to the surface of the green. You know, you got to land these balls in a way that has a chance to hop one time and then roll itself out, right? So watch this one shot right here. So a lot of green to work with here. I'm gonna basically brakes a little to the left. I'm gonna basically put the ball back in my stance, not a lot of hand action. Nice, and by the way, be firm and aggressive. Be aggressive on these, right? Don't flip it, don't take it back too far. It's a nice little aggressive, firm stroke. One of the things I saw earlier in the US Open was be an athlete, right? Be aggressive on these. Don't chicken out on them. So sit here and just basically have your correct hand position, and then that was a good one there. So it gives you a little bit of aggressive move and the ball will stay on the face, right? So it stays here and stays on the face. Pay attention to the ball. Pay attention to a clean club face. Make sure this thing doesn't have anything between make sure if the ball's wet, you understand it. Make sure you have the hands leading, and also understand that it's about keeping the face angle consistent, not flipping it up in the air. That's gonna help you hit some really consistent wedge shots. Hey, if you're enjoying this content and all the things about the single point swing, don't forget to subscribe, click the bell icon, give me a thumbs up. I'll see you in the next video.